too. So 40,000 people don't have to see me play all the time. Because I don't know what I'm doing.
I thought I'd start today's episode on something a little bit different. Sunday locals. Because we always do Saturday locals, but we don't do Sunday locals. So here's a few shots of what happened on Sunday. While everyone was enjoying themselves playing cards, I was sitting here and just doing my accounting, thinking about it. Accounting really does make up the bread and butter of understanding a business, and today we start talking about why. So stay tuned. So I hope you guys had a great week. Last week we basically spent the whole video on the Rochester Regionals, and we also covered what you need to do to get a distributor and how the process works. This week we're going back to the whiteboard because we're going to talk about accounting. Accounting. I hope you guys can see that. I think you can see that. Yeah, it looks like you can see that. Accounting is one of those things that's really important. It allows you to record all your transactions, which is important for you to understand how your business is flowing, important for the government, important for all sorts of things. With accounting, there's a whole lot to cover. There's no mistake. It's a big field. But for the sake of videos, we're just going to start with the basics, and then we'll gradually move it up a little bit as we understand how it works. Today we're just going to start with the different types of financial statements, the main ones. There are 4. There's the income statement, there's the statement of changes in equity, the financial statement, and the statement of cash flows. And we'll talk about all of them as we get to them. First, we're going to start with the income statement. When writing your income statement, you do have your company name and what the statement is, and you know what for doing months for the month ended. So let's say we're on Bob's Gaming World, because you know Bob wants a gaming world too. And this is the income statement. And we'll call it for the month of, I don't know. We'll call it for the month of February 29th. Alright, so that's what the front of it looks like. Before we get any further, yes, these statements will be generated by accounting programs. Yeah, Sage 50 should allow you to make your income statement and all your statements for you. The reason we're doing it by scratch is so we can teach, so you guys understand the fundamentals and mechanics behind it. If you're just plugging all your information in on the computer, that's great. You're a data entry specialist. That's awesome. But will you really understand how it works and what it all means? Maybe, maybe not. So that's why we're going into like this. So the very first thing we start with is your revenues. Revenues are important. They're your streams of income. Let's make it simple. The customer spent money on either sealed product or singles for the month of February. And we'll use really generic numbers. We'll call singles, I don't know. Let's say we brought in $3,800 in February in singles. Sealed, we brought in $300. Because you know, February is a dead month, right? All we had was all structured X. Whatever. Let's just say that that's how it is. So your total revenue, $4,100. Make sense so far? Doing good. Let's talk about expenses. Expenses are the things that you have to pay. When we talk about expenses, we're talking about things like rent, employees, things like that. So let's say our rent was $1,000 for the month, and our salaries, we paid $700. That means that your total expenses are $1,700. At the end of this part, you either determine a profit or you determine a net loss. Profit is good, loss is bad. Very bad. So you have a profit this month of $2,400. 41 minus 17. Good job. Great job. $2,400 in a month is a good, solid month's work. Cool. The next statement we're going to look at is the statement and changes of equity. So we're going to write that here. And everything else will stay the same. So one thing to know about equity is that it's assets minus liabilities. Another way to look at it is your equity will increase with your investments in the business and your profits, whereas the opposite will negatively impact it. So where are we going to start? We'd start by recording how much capital we had right away when the month started. Whatever, let's say you're new and you don't have anything. Cool. So you started, you put your name, capital, February 1st. You had 0. Sure, whatever. And then you have an ad. Like, you go write something like investments to owners, investments from owners, or owner. We'll say you put in $10,000. You know, you're planning on spending a lot of money on cards. $10,000 is great. Cool. You also include your profit here from the income statement. So your profit, which was $2,400. Sorry. So your 12. Oh my goodness gracious. Your $12,400 goes right there. Now, are we done? Maybe we're done. Maybe we're not done. Maybe we took out some money in the business this month to, I don't know, pay ourselves, go to Disneyland, whatever. So we'll call this withdrawals, also called drawings. Let's say we took out $600. So at the end of the month, you have $11,800, and that's your name, capital, end of month, February 29th. So it's important to remember this number, this 11,800. That's going to come up on our next statement, which is the balance sheet. So for your balance sheet, you go up here, you leave your company here, you write balance sheet, and the date, February 29th. This is the day that we're trying to balance on, so this is the day you want. So the first part of your balance sheet is going to have your assets. So running over here, write assets. So let's say we have cash, we have our supplies, and let's say our single cards. So let's say our cash right now at the end here is $8,400. We have $3,600 in supplies, whatever. Supplies, you could also call equipment, maybe, you know, your tables, your chairs, whatever. Display case, shelving, all that could go in there if you want. And your single cards, $6,000. We'll say that you determine that the single cards you have are worth $6,000 because maybe that's what they're worth, that's what you spent on them. Simple numbers for now, let's not worry about it too much. So we underline this. Your total assets should be worth $18,000. Yeah, $18,000. Look good? Great. Double underline it, call it a day. So we have this stuff on the left side, these assets. On the right side goes our liability and our equity. What needs to happen is this number needs to equal the number that we get over here when we're done. What we're going to do is write liabilities here. Liabilities are basically anything payable. For this example, we'll use accounts payable and notes payable, both being terms of you owing money to different companies for different reasons. So we'll say your accounts payable is only $200. Let's say your notes payable is $6,000. Not impossible. It happens. So we know that our total liabilities, if we do the math properly, $6,200. Cool. Now what? Our $6,200 does not equal this $18,000. But you know what would equal the difference here? $11,800. If you remember from our statement of changes in equity, $11,800 is what we had left. In our equity section, we're going to have our capital. So name, capital for February 29th. This was $11,800. And now that we have the $11,800 here and the $6,200 there, we just add it together into this nice little total equity plus liabilities. And that's the point of the balance sheet. It's supposed to balance. These two numbers are supposed to be the same, and that's how you know that all your accounting was done properly for this financial period. The final statement here is the statement of cash flows. We're not going to get into this statement in particular because it's pretty self-explanatory. You're just basically writing, oh, I spent my cash on this, I spent my cash on this, I got cash in for this and this and this. And at the end, it would have to equal that cash amount on our balance sheet, which was $8,400. We'll touch upon the statement again in the future in a later part to our accounting discussion because while it's simple to me, we're going to talk about a couple of things that you may not know yet, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, we made it past part 1. We're done. That's all we're going to talk about for today's accounting portion. I wanted you to understand that these financial statements exist, and they are the statements that have all your information, and anything you need to see will be on those statements. Practical applications. Let's say that you looked at your income statement and you saw that you had a net loss. You'd investigate why you would have that net loss. So maybe you'd look on your balance sheet and your statement of changes of equity for that answer. Maybe you took out a huge sum of money instead of $600. Maybe you took out way more than that, and that's what caused you to have a net loss. When we're finished with this, you'll be able to get an idea and look at a bunch of these numbers and say, so this month I did really well on my single sealed product, but I did not do well on my sealed product. Or vice versa. Maybe I bought a big collection of cards and completely pooped the bed on my singles, but my sealed product carried me because we're in March and Dual Overload came out and it was a great month. With these financial statements, you'll be able to identify this information, maybe make changes if you need to make changes. That's what the information is there for, in order to help you run your business better. Well, I hope you found this productive. Again, this is part 1. Part 2, part 3, part 4 will go much more into deeper details, and it'll only get more deep from there. If you have specific questions about anything I covered today, leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer it. If you have questions about something else that's on your mind, leave a comment and I'll answer it to the best of my ability as well. With this out of your way, hopefully you learned a little bit about accounting, hopefully you learned to appreciate it a little bit more and understand why it's important for your business. That being said, let's go and see how Saturday's tournament went.
I'll give you the options.
I have a transaction.
I know.
You might buy Everest.
Yeah, thank you.
What?
Yeah, I will.
That's nice. I had this. I wish I had $1 million.
For the first time ever, we had 5 rounds, 18 people, just a 5-round tournament with top 8. I was so pleased when I saw this. Literally the best moment of having this card shop so far. I'll go ahead and put the decks here. Comment down below on what you think made the top 8, and then we'll go from there.
Assistant?
Well, he can just special monsters in my hand or my
Mind control. I'll take this. Take 4.
next I shall destroy.
Are you ready to duel?
Remove us from graveyard.
Terraforming.
Yeah, you can see, like, it'll pop out.
Yeah, never seen that.
There's that camera in there. So I'm not gonna have to
So draw phase.
Honestly, I'm thrilled. This weekend was fantastic. Our 5-round tournament on Saturday just like, it blew all my expectations. I did not think that it was going to happen this soon. When we first, were opening up and starting, our tournaments averaged between 10, 11, 12 players a week. And that was okay. It wasn't fantastic, but it was fine. And now we've made it all the way to 18 players at once. Was not expecting it. It's great. New players are coming, old players are staying, and that's all great. I want to use this opportunity to make a big shout out to the Belleville card community here. You guys are making this all possible. I wouldn't have opened this game space and wouldn't be keeping it open if this wasn't a success for me and a success for all of you as well. You guys are making it worth it, and I'm really thankful. You guys make this an awesome thing to do during the night. It's better than, I don't know, shoveling poop. Yeah, we've lost some players. Some players don't really like what's going on here, but that's okay. We'll lose people, but we'll also gain people. We've been gaining. So we're making progress. And as long as we keep making progress, everything's gonna be great. I want to take this opportunity before we end the video now to thank you guys for watching the videos. You guys have made this channel, something special to me. You've made it popular enough. It keeps getting a little bit bigger as we go. And I love seeing the comments, the stories, everything. It's so fantastic to read, and I love answering all your comments. It's so wonderful to be doing this. Now that we got all the mushy stuff out of the way, I think we'll go ahead and close this week's video. I thank you guys for watching once again, and take care. I'll see you next time.